My future sister-in-law claims I never RSVP'd my family for her wedding, which I know for a fact I did, but somehow it's still fine for my husband and son to attend but not me. I think she's deliberately targeting me. Posted by u/TA_no place5878. This is a throwaway because I'm not quite ready for all of my husband's family to get involved, I think. I'm still reeling and trying to process this, so bear with me. My brother-in-law is getting married soon. My husband is the best man, and our 4-year-old is the ring bearer. I'm a part-time party planner, so I've been helping plan a small luncheon for the bridal party, immediate family, and a few vendors on the wedding day. So I'm not exactly a fringe guest here. The RSVP deadline was a few weeks ago. I filled out the online form and submitted it the same day the invitation came in the mail, with my husband sitting right next to me. We RSVP'd for the 3 of us, me, my husband, and our son. Easy peasy, right? Well, my brother-in-law's fiancé, my sister-in-law, I guess, reached out today over text saying we never RSVP'd. Not hey, I never saw your RSVP, just checking, but straight up, you didn't respond. Which is frustrating on its own, but then she tells us that while my husband and son have seats at the reception as they were part of her original head counts, I do not. My husband was told I could come early with him to set up the luncheon still and stay for the ceremony, but that I would not have a spot at the reception. Let me repeat that, I'm married to the best man, mother of the ring bearer, and helping with wedding day logistics, including connecting my brother-in-law's fiancé with some of my professional contacts. And she somehow decided I just wouldn't be coming? And she never followed up before the RSVP deadline? Just, in what world? I'm torn between feeling hurt, furious, and just flabbergasted. And used, I definitely feel used. At best, this was a sloppy mistake that she's not owning. At worst, it feels like a pointed exclusion. I'm not sure which stings more. My husband is going to handle the conversation with his brother to figure out what is going on because I genuinely don't trust myself to be polite and keep the peace. There was no other drama leading up to this that I was aware of. I have a good relationship with my in-laws. So yeah, this is totally out of left field for me and my husband. I would love to hear thoughts, especially from people who've gone through something similar. I don't typically touch weddings with work, so this is all new territory for me as a pseudo-vendor/guest. My husband wants to reach out and talk to his brother first, but I'm so tempted to reach out to my mother-in-law before our usual meetup tomorrow to see if she knows anything. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. You are smart to wait and let your husband talk to his brother. I'm flabbergasted also. That is freaking nuts. And this is coming from someone who is totally laid back, not someone who usually takes things personally. Just try to take your mind off it and see what your husband reports. Go from there. Ops response. I'm usually pretty laid back too. I haven't seen the texts yet, but my husband called on his lunch break when he saw them, and I have not heard him this pissed in a long time. I'm trying to give my sister-in-law the benefit of the doubt, but this feels very personal and intentional. Commenter 2. Cancel the luncheon. If you are not welcome at the wedding, there is no need for you to be free labor. Ops response. I think I'm going to do this no matter what the outcome is. It puts my mother and father-in-law in a bit of a lurch since they're handling the food costs, but I don't know. I know I'm biased because I'm in the middle of it, but I feel like there should be some consequences. Op adds an edit to her post. My husband and brother-in-law are talking now. My brother-in-law was not working today, last night, and was helping my father-in-law with something this evening. When I called my mother-in-law, she had my brother-in-law call my husband right away. From what my mother-in-law and I can hear, we're snoopy. My husband was muted on my brother-in-law's phone and my contact was deleted. My brother-in-law can't log into the wedding website, so he can't check to see if our RSVP was there. I'm not sure if I want to become a firecracker myself or get some popcorn as I watch my mother-in-law pop off. Op adds a second edit to her post. Okay, here's the last update for the night. I am tired and a bit overwhelmed by all of your responses. I'm sorry I haven't replied to them all, but I have read most of them. Again, thank you for your advice and just general support during this really weird and upsetting time. So, my husband finally got a hold of my brother-in-law after I called my mother-in-law. No one else knew this was going on. While they were talking, my brother-in-law tried logging into their wedding website to see if this was a mistake or misunderstanding, but couldn't log in. So he texted his fiancée to see if she changed the password, and she just told him to come home instead. This set off 3 things. 1. My brother-in-law ended the call with my husband to call his fiancée about why she couldn't answer a simple question. 2. My mother-in-law popped off about how dare that woman exclude op. 3. My mother and father-in-law popped off on my brother-in-law for already living with his fiancée. They are very religious and traditional and don't believe that a couple should live together before marriage. My husband and I sympathize with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law and his fiancée argued over the phone. Apparently, she started claiming that it was an unfortunate glitch and it was too late to add another seat now. Then it was that we never jived, and would it really be so bad if I went home early? Plus, I could take our son home with me because he would be tired by then, at 5 p.m.? This woman does not know kids, I swear to God. Then it was that I've always been mean and excluded her from things, even though she's never invited me to any of the girly fun wedding events. At this point, my husband and I are glued to my phone as we're hearing yelling from all four of them until she hangs up. My brother-in-law is spending the night at his parents' and is unsure about the wedding now. He plans on going home tomorrow with my husband going with him for moral support. I'll be going with my husband to my in-laws to hang out until we hear back about the situation at the battlefront. Additional info from Op. I initially wasn't invited to the bridal shower. Then her mom brought it up at Easter dinner, and that's when I was awkwardly invited. I guess her vibe always felt off to me. She doesn't like my hobbies, specifically TTRPGs and video games. They're hobbies I have in common with my mother-in-law, and my sister-in-law stopped bashing them as much when she found out my mother-in-law also partakes in quests across Tamriel and the Forgotten Realms. Op adds a third edit to her post. Sorry, one more teeny 1 a.m. update. My husband is asleep, I should be too, but I'm still reeling and pissed. I thought to take a screen cap of the message she sent my husband for future proof, and it's gone. She used Facebook Messenger to text my husband, and it says her texts are deleted. Update 2 days later. I can't sleep after word vomiting this in my journal, so why not post the update? Just to clarify something from the original post, I did not plan everything for the wedding. I offered to bring food for a small luncheon between photos, 10 a.m., and the ceremony, 4 p.m., as dinner wasn't planned until 6 p.m. It was going to be a long day at a farm in the middle of nowhere. I offered to do it to be nice but also to make sure no one, specifically a certain 4-year-old, would be hangry for the ceremony. My sister-in-law also only used one of my vendor contacts, so with things going south, my professional reputation shouldn't really be impacted. The update, turns out, the no seat for op issue was the problem that broke my brother-in-law's relationship. And we're a bit upset my brother-in-law didn't talk to anyone about this until it blew up. Behind the scenes, my brother-in-law and his fiancée were having arguments about their future together. Most of these arguments centered around having kids. Early on, she gave the impression that she wanted children someday. But as they got more serious, she started backtracking. A few months ago, my brother-in-law realized that it's very likely she never wanted kids, but felt too invested in the relationship to leave. But he always imagined having a large family, so this really shook him. On top of that, she apparently had jealousy and insecurity issues. For my brother-in-law, I've been her latest target, WTF, which started when I turned down going to Amani/Petty with her. Why did I turn her down? My husband and son had rotavirus. Apparently, I was icing her out by not wanting to spread gastrointestinal doom. Can anyone please explain this logic to us? Lastly, she was apparently already floating the idea of disinviting our son from the reception because he would have been the only small child there. My brother-in-law shut that down immediately, and my mother and father-in-law kept that knowledge from us to spare our feelings. Ergo, our lost RSVP was not a software glitch. Nor was it an oversight, but a rather stupidly calculated move. She was apparently hoping one of two things would happen: either I would make a scene about being disinvited and be seen as the problem, or we would quietly accept our fate and she would not have to deal with two undesirables at her reception. With all of this in mind, I can't figure out why she would have messaged my husband instead of me. Was she trying to cause more family drama? Again, the logic is not logicking. My brother-in-law was already feeling some uncertainty because of the shifting kids/no kids conversation. But the deliberate seating stunt gave him the last push and clarity he needed. He told my husband it was a level of manipulation and cruelty that he could not overlook. So he ended things and asked for the ring back. No wedding or reception, just a super messy, emotionally heavy, and expensive breakup. And I feel so bad for my brother-in-law. He's going through so much heartache right now, but he deserves better in a partner. Hopefully, she can find a family dynamic that doesn't feel like a never-ending battlefield. That's all for now. I'm still tired. I'm still flabbergasted. But I'm also relieved this wedding arc is coming to an end. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Please give us more details about how your sister-in-law reacted to being called out and to the wedding being called off. Op's response. Per my brother-in-law, there was a lot of begging and crying. There was also anger and accusations that he was cheating with me, followed by professions of love and offers to go to therapy. She also kept taking the items he was packing out of his bags until he called my husband to come in and be another set of eyes. Commenter 2. She took a calculated risk, but man, did she skip math. Ops response. Are we sure she was even using numbers?